Hey, what is up guys, Guitar Rock here, welcome back to another Blue Archive video. Let's talk about the joint firing drill, the shooting drill this week. So what is this going to be all about? As you can see, we got the Sonic Advantage Elastic Armor, enemy's defense type is going to be that particular one. And of course, it is going to be a little bit finicky in this particular case. We got special debuffs with Burn, Chill, Poison, Passionate Cheering, and Shock additional damage, which I don't think anybody has except for the collab character Misaka Mikoto, right? So this is going to be a very interesting one. Now basically what you're trying to do is if you have a Sonic type student and if you can apply any of these like additional debuffs or DOT sort of thing, you can basically do additional damage. So I'm only going to apply that on one team, but you can still brute force this regardless with a few other characters, right? So increase the enemy's crit resistance. So that's going to be a little bit annoying, but you can basically reduce that. Some characters like New Year Haruka basically can decrease enemies' crit resistance and crit damage resistance, right? So with that being said, let's jump into this. I am going to show you guys what this is going to be all about. Now first things first, this is going to be what I'm going to use. I'm going to take out Kasumi here, right? You don't really need Kasumi. Just bring any 2-cost character just to cycle through. That's just going to be a filler spot, right? Because let me think of, I guess Asuna is like a 2-cost, right? So I assume everybody has her. I try to make this as free to play friendly as possible. So basically you just need Ui and Mika and Swimsuit Shiroko. If you don't have Swimsuit Shiroko, you can take Asuna out for Akane to decrease the enemy's defense. I'm not sure if you need that a lot particularly, but ideally Swimsuit Shiroko already can decrease defense, so you don't need as many, right? So the truth is, you ideally just want Swimsuit Shiroko because she's very good for the cost recovery, right? So make sure you cost recover faster. And of course, we're going to cycle through her skills. Hibiki is just there for just this particular crit damage increase for Mika because Mika can do 100% crit. Other than that, nothing crazy right here. Ui will help Mika out because yeah, we're trying to cycle through to get the lower cost, and that's pretty much it, right? So it's a little bit unfortunate that we are supposed to have the Steam client release for PC for Blue Archive, but that has been delayed. No idea when it's going to be the official release, so we're gonna have to wait for that until further notice. Alright, I will be... Okay, let me move my face cam down so you guys can see the timer above my head. So we're gonna start off with Ui on Mika, and then go Swimsuit Shiroko, and then go Mika, and then go Asuna, right? And then we're gonna use Ui on someone else, I guess Asuna since we use her, and then Swimsuit Shiroko, and then Mika. So it's just, we're just gonna cycle through, and we're just gonna do this 3 times. 3 times is going to be what is needed. Call of the Stars. Okay, Asuna is gonna move again. Ui back on Mika, Swimsuit Shiroko, and then Mika again. And then Asuna can drift around in the corner. I guess now Ui on Asuna because Ui has 2 cycles. Swimsuit Shiroko and then Mika again. So by the way, I have a maid Midori right there. Or is that maid Momoi? But I'm not gonna use her because she's level 1. I think you guys saw as well, right? So same thing. Alright, as you can see, it's pretty straightforward. Swimsuit Shiroko. Oh shoot, I forgot to do Mika on Ui. Ui needs to go to Mika now. So we still got 30 something seconds. I think the next sequence is gonna be enough. Just jump down there. And then go with this. And then just left a little bit more. I guess we can use Hibiki, right? Yeah, so if you have a decently built Mika, this should be definitely doable, right? Now if you are struggling again, what you can also do, you can you can bring Camping Hair to replace her, alright? But we already give attack percent buff, but of course Camping Hair gives way more, right? So that's also going to be something that you can do to improve your Mika strength. So instead of Asuna just drifting around for cycling costs, after you use Ui, you use Camping Hair, but keep in mind that you know the rotation can be you have to use Ui first, and then because 2 attack percent buff, right, it doesn't really stack. So keep that in mind. Once you use Ui back on Mika, it was going to override the buff that you have previously. Now if you lack in damage, that is what you can actually do, but ideally one team, that should be the easy one. Now team 2, or this is going to be the default team that I highly recommend a lot of people try, right? So remember, the boss has a special additional damage when the boss receives any DOT, right? Chill, poison, etc. A lot of people that are not aware of this, but Midori, she can do poison. Alright, if you guys are not aware, you can see right here, hit the enemy 5 times, deals 51% as additional continuous poison damage if Momoi is in the same unit. So what you want to do is you want to put Momoi and Midori, so now Midori can do poison. And then apply the poison, and then Shinsu Hanako goes in afterwards, so that way you get this stuff, right? We don't really need Kotama here. Cherino is there for cost regen as per usual, right? The passive cost regen. You can also consider bringing in Swimsuit Hoshino if you want like way faster cost regen. That could also be an alternative. So basically you gotta use her skill first, right? But ideally this is going to be more than enough. Alright, so what you want to do, you want to wait for a little bit, and then you want to apply the poison first. Alright, we're gonna do this. Alright, so and then we're gonna go Shinsu Hanako and Kisaki. Alright, so we got enough to cycle through. Again, we can buff everybody with Kotama, and then go with her again, and then go with Shinsu Hanako 2 times. Okay, so let's see. I want to wait for around 10 costs, and then I'm gonna go Kisaki on Shinsu Hanako. We should have enough. Kotama, and then Midori, and then Shinsu Hanako twice. Okay, I guess for this one, yeah, that's more than enough, right? So we can do the same. Kisaki, Kotama, Midori, Shinsu Hanako, and then we are able to spray twice. In case you guys hear that stutter from the sound, that's because of the emulator that I'm using. I guess after the latest update, it has that additional stuttering occasionally, right? Like small little stutter. But the gameplay is smooth, it's just the sound, right? So hopefully, you know, once the PC client comes out, they will fix that, right? But yeah, this team is going to be way more, you know, I believe this is a way more easier team to use or execute, right? But Midori and Momoi are both pretty much free. Midori can be obtained via the one of the coins, right? And then Momoi is pretty much a 2-star. The only one is Shinsu Hanako. You may or may not have her, so that's going to be something that if you don't have her, you can always borrow. But as always, you know, use this guy as a reference. Don't always use it as a one-to-one, because I notice a lot of people always, you know, if you don't have certain characters, you can always swap them. For example, let's say you don't have Kisaki, Himari can easily take this place, right? But of course, Kotama already gives the attack % buff. Then you can probably use Akko if you want to. So you can always, like, you know, apply the strategy, think a little bit outside of the box. You don't have to follow everything one-to-one. It's up to you, because our characters could be different. You guys might have a different character. But either way, always rely on assistant as well, alright? Don't forget, you can always rely on assistant. If you want to, you can borrow one more Shinsu Hanako to make your life easier. But I'm going to show you guys a little bit of a different team right here. We got Momiji. Don't worry about her. She can just be there as a placeholder. But the important one is going to be Ibuki for the attack % buff. New Year Fuuka for the crit damage buff. And Wakamo is going to be the one that do the damage most of the time, right? Now in this case, Shun is just there for the cost as per usual. She doesn't really give cost regen, but she gives a little bit of cost at the beginning. But we do have New Year Haruka right there to give cost regen, right? By the way, New Year Haruka can also help with reducing the enemy's crit damage, you know, resistance if you want to. So let's go with this New Year Fuuka on Wakamo, right? Oh shoot, is Wakamo? Oh, Wakamo is outside of the buff. So the position is wrong. So you want to put Wakamo and Shun. Alright, so let's restart that, right? I guess the best way to settle that is just put Ibuki next to Wakamo. Okay, so we want the Wakamo to get the attack % buff as well. So start off with New Year Fuuka on Wakamo, and then Ibuki, and then Wakamo, right? And then you can use New Year Haruka in this, and then New Year Fuuka again. And then we can go again with Ibuki and Wakamo. Alright, and then we need a little bit of damage to push this. I think we can just use Momiji for this particular case. Okay, the explosion deals with that. So, ooh, why did they... Sometimes they just stop and not do anything, which is a little bit weird. I guess they're waiting for the passive skill, right? But yeah, same rotation throughout. Same rotation, we go with New Year Haruka. And then New Year Fuuka again. And then I guess Ibuki and Wakamo. Actually, you don't really need to Ibuki cycle too much because you probably still get the buff from the previous effect, right? For this one, you might need to hit one extra try. Let's see. Okay, never mind. So, in that particular case, move! Move, GBs! You can't just stand there and not do anything. Okay. Let's go with Momiji. And then Wakamo. Okay. So we're gonna go with Ibuki. And then one more time. Alright, this should do it. Alright, that should do it. GG's. Alright, so that is how you can do the current season of Drill. Obviously, there's a lot of these characters that you can easily replace, especially Momiji. I just use her because I assume most people have her. Now, whether or not you have her build is a different story, right? I try to make this so that it's a character that most players have, alright? Especially the fast students. Also, I assume that most people have fast students because like that's the meta character. Ideally, it's going to be much easier for you to borrow as well. So it is going to be what it is for the current season of Drill. Alright, feel free to experiment with it a little bit and rotate around according to who you have in your roster. As per usual, that's gonna be it for this particular video. Subscribe if you guys haven't already. Give this video a like. Hopefully Steam release is going to be very soon. With that being said, that's it. Have a nice day. Goodbye.